Hi YouTube, Engineer Boy 100. Thanks for tuning in. Welcome to part 2 of 6 of my HD9 BendPak 4-post car lift. In this video, I will be sharing with you guys how I assembled my lift in the order that I did it. We are going to assemble the structure, then the hydraulic and air lines, and then the cables. This is a fairly complex procedure, and I don't cover every detail, so please know that if you try this, you do at your own risk, and if you're not comfortable doing it, you should hire a professional. So without further ado, I'm going to show you a quick card of all the fasteners and fittings, and then we'll pop open the boxes, all the parts, and assemble the lift. Alright, in the packing there's 2 boxes, and I don't know what's in them, so I'm going to open it up now. Little box. Alright, so this is the anchoring stuff. Anchors, which I'm not going to be using. Here's the conduit. Anchors. Oh, these are top plates. This is the top plates that go on top of the columns. And then here's our sliders. So here we go. There are block sliders, which are a different configuration than the old block sliders that were very one piece. These are 2-piece. And what is this? The wheel chucks. And a something. I don't know what that is. We'll find out. So here's the wheel chucks. Alright, 2 of them. Alright, let's see what's in the big box. Alright, and here we have our cables. Alright, so there's cables, there's some lube. We'll have to figure out which one's A, B, C, and D. I don't know what these are. Here's the cables. So we'll have to go through these and figure out which is which. There's another cable. There's another cable. And the hydraulic lines, fittings, nuts and bolts, air hose, hydraulic line, a lot of little return springs, and just fittings, screws, nuts and bolts, this, whatever it is, and a bunch of stuff. Some rods, I don't know what these are for yet. Some metal rods, really nice. I don't know what the hell they're for. So we'll get into that as we go along. Figure all that. We're going to go through a detailed assembly, so when we get to each portion and I figure out what things are, look at this. Nice. I don't know what it is. Those are really nice. So anyway, that's box 1, box 2. So now we're going to finish putting the sliders in the columns, but first we got to hammer on the blocks. So we get a mallet and get after it. Okay, so we're going to install the slide blocks. We're going to let you watch us do that. There are 4 on each side, on each end. And you want the slot on the outside because that's where your ladder goes. So here we go. Once your slider blocks are installed, it should look like this, with the slots on the outside. They will later accept your ladder. Now we're going to slide the cross member onto the columns. All right, so when you install your ladders, you want to install the ladder itself kind of kitty corner so that it fits in easier. That way you can install it with the columns upright. Your top plate, you're going to want your big hole in the middle and your small hole towards the outside. So I'll show the top and the bottom separately. So I'll show you how to install the ladder, the bottom portion, kitty corner, and then you want to rotate it so that it goes into the slots at the back of the sliding blocks. Take it in at an angle so it'll fit. Then rotate it once it's all the way in and slide it down like so. Now we'll look at the top. Alright, so when you put your top plate on, here's the top plate. You have a smaller hole here, it's about 5/8, and a larger hole here, which is like 3/4 inch. Okay? You want the smaller hole towards the back, and that is what your ladder goes into. And then you have a washer and a nut, and I'll show you those in the packet of fasteners. And also on either side, there's going to be a 10mm bolt and nut that hold it in place here and here on either side. So you want to line it up like this. You get your ladder, put it in the back one. These go on the inside, and then your washer and nut go on here on the top, and then you fasten on either side your 10mm nut and bolt. Okay, each ladder is held in place by a washer and a bolt on the outside and a nut and a washer on the inside. Okay, and then there's a spacer between the back side of the column, okay, and the ladder. So I'll let you watch me install that now. When tightening up the nut and bolt at the bottom of the ladder, in the little groove, the slot, don't crank down on it. That needs to be loose enough to where it can still be adjusted up and down. And it has a locking nut on it, so you don't have to worry about it coming loose, but you don't want to over tighten it. You want to let that ladder be free to slide up and down in that slot for adjustment. So I'll tighten up mine now. Just snug, not tight. Barely making contact. Okay, here's a quick example how we move one of the runners when we need to put in the cross members. We're going to put the cross members in next. Pick it up. Yeah. Sounds to me. So we're getting ready to put the first runner on, and to do that you have to remove the sheaves. So here are the sheaves or the pulleys on the single side, and I'll show you the ones on the double side where the double sheaves are. They're over here underneath. You got to go down like this, and here they are. So those are the sheaves right there, and there's a 6mm Allen at the top. If you see up there on the top, those 6mm Allens, I have to take those loose and remove those sheaves. Here's a shot of the sheaves, and I really wanted to point out how nice these are. Yeah, look at that. Nice quality bushings, and I really like that. So you just put a little bit of grease on them, and they last forever. Anyway, just want to show you the bushing, the sheaves, and the bushings in the sheaves or pulleys. Now that we have the sheaves removed, I can go ahead and install the first runner and install the bolts. Now I'm going to attempt to install the second cross member single-handedly. Wish me luck. Okay, so we got the runners up, and now I'm going to do a squareness check with a measurement from corner to corner. Got the tape measure already down, so let's go look at what we have. We're touching the other side. Sorry it's upside down, but that's just the way it runs. So it looks like we have 177. Okay, so I'll set it up and we'll check the other side and see where we're at. All right, let's check the diagonal on the other side. And it looks like we're at, 176.5. So we're gonna have to jiggle this around a little bit until we have the same measurement both ways. And then we'll know we're square. Then we'll marker and drill and bolt it down. But that's gonna be a separate video. The mounting down to the concrete, anchoring is going to be a separate video. Okay, so here's the mounting hardware. I'm going to go over this and basically just give you a real quick rundown on how that goes on the lift. Now this is a flex tube and it's for the protection of the hydraulic line. And the way you mount it is with this hardware here. Now this is the flex tube bracket plate, and this is the flex tube angle plate. And this mounts onto here on the bottom where those two holes are. And there's two holes on the bottom here. And then you mount your tube on that. And the other end goes down to your cylinder. And this is your zero plate. Okay, this little guy here, zero plate. And that is where your air valve mounts. It mounts to. Okay, so here are the mount bolts for your air valve. These are included. And here are your mount bolts for your angle, your flex tube angle bracket. This is a piece of rubber. It's just a piece of rubber foam. And what it is, see, it's just a piece of rubber. It is for noise dampening. So it goes directly on the back of the power unit. It's the first thing you put on. You kind of want to go ahead and do that before you put your bolts through so you don't have to try and fit it in after the fact. That's just a tip. Alright, so I'll go ahead and assemble it and I'll show you guys what it looks like. Okay, all the flex tube supports are installed. This is what it looks like. Here's the flex tube already connected. I did mine on the back side here by the wall. And here is the zero bracket for the air. I'll take you around the other side so you can see that better. So here is the air valve and the zero bracket here. And yes, the valve is fully plumbed in air. Here we go. So yeah, it is fully plumbed to the compressor, way over on the other side, as is the electrical, ready to go. These are the hydraulic and air hose fittings. So here goes. So basically, these are the three T-fittings, and quite simply is, after the main air line comes down from the unit, down into this main runway, there's a T-fitting. It goes right here at the end. It's underneath, you can't see it. And then from that T-fitting, it comes out to this end, out this hole right here. And I'll show you what that looks like. It's gonna look just like this. Okay, it's gonna look like that. And then you're gonna have air lines that go either way and feed this lock and this lock, okay? And you're gonna get the exact same thing down at the other end. Okay, you're gonna get the exact same thing down the other end. Now once it's done, I'll show you that. And in a nutshell, that is the air fitting. There's one more that I already installed, actually two more. One here, it's loose. I just kind of put it there. I gotta take it back off, put some Teflon tape on it. And then there's one here. This is where the air actually comes in from my compressor. Okay, so you can see what that looks like. So, and then the air line goes on up. So basically that's the air. Now, all right, so the first thing we need to do is remove this 8mm Allen bolt and pressurize this cylinder with some compressed air and extend it all the way out so that it is easy for us to get the cables to reach all of the sheaves. So let's remove this and then let's go get us some air. I'll just move this right now. All right, oh, there's some little bit in there. Oh, I ain't in there no more. All right, so let's go get some air. All right, we got the air compressor all pumped up. Let's see if this will push out this cylinder. I got this little air nozzle to do just that, little air gun. Man, I hope it works good for this because it sure worked good for cleaning the floors and stuff. Let's see what we got here. So it fits right in there. Ooh, it works easy. It works so freaking good. You guys gotta check this out. All right, here we go. Watch this. It goes out so nice and easy. A little bit of air and out it goes. Ooh. You keep kind of sealing it. Very cool. Let me do it again. I'm not sure why it's coming back. Something is... Oh, I gotta open the other side. Yeah, you gotta open this. That's probably got some pressure in it too. Okay, good. Oh, now let's try that again. Shouldn't get no pushback. All right, let's try it again. Oh my, what a mess we make. Oh man. But at least it didn't come back. Probably should have hooked that up before. Yeah! Okay. Damn. So now we're gonna go ahead and clean up oh man, I got stuff all over the camera too. Jeez. Here's the kitty litter mess I'm gonna have to clean up from this hydraulic going all over the place. Alright, so we're going to run that return line. Originally, I was going to do the return line and the air line and the hydraulic line in like a whole separate segment before everything blew up in my face. So now I'm going to show you right now. So there are two fittings, one that go on the power unit and one go on the end of the hydraulic cylinder. They are here and here. One each goes here. Now, one goes here, right here, okay, on the power unit. And we're going to take this 8mm out and put that in right now. And we're going to use this thread sealer, okay? You want to use thread sealer on any of the hydraulic fittings. Do not use Teflon tape. No, 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 no. See this? Gone. Okay. I just had that there just to say no, don't use that. These are, just for convenience, these are 13mm. So we're going to screw those in. And here is your tube. You use the same tube for the airline supply to all of the lock releases, the little lock release solenoid valves, pneumatic solenoid valves, and you use the same tube for the hydraulic return. But don't connect the hydraulic to the air. Don't get them confused, just because it's the same type of tubing. Okay, so simple. You just put your fittings in, one on the unit, one on the cylinder, run your tube to length, cut it, take these little nut ends off. They have knurls inside of them, and you just tighten it down, not too tight or you're gonna have leaks. All right, so I'll let you watch. Okay, now here we go down and we'll go down the flex tube. Alright, so this is the return end of the cylinder, the closest to the power unit. So we'll put this in here and then I'm going to turn it. You know what? I don't think it's going to make it all the way around again. I hope that's tight enough. It's low pressure, so it doesn't have to be too tight. I got the sealer, so we'll leave it like that. And then we just come down the flex tube and in here, and then that's the return. All right. So now we can put the actual the hydraulic line on the other end. Sorry. So let's do that. The red cap, that's where my male thread is going to go for that small fitting. Okay, the small fitting is going to go there. That's how that goes. Now, what's going to connect to that is my hydraulic line, this. Okay, this hydraulic line, and there's a straight in and a 90-degree in, as you can see. The 90-degree in, the way I'm going to do it, is going to be connected at the unit. And the straight in is going to go down the tube, and then it's going to connect at the cylinder, which will have another 90. We'll have this large one, will be like connected to the unit, it'll be like that, and then it'll come straight in. It'll come straight in like that. And I'll show you when it's all done, but I just wanted to go over. All right, so I'm going to put the hydraulic fitting on. It's the larger one of the two, okay? The larger of these two silver ones. This one goes down here on the cylinder, and the other one goes at the power unit. And I'll show you that when I do it. So I'm going to put some more of this stuff on the threads so that we don't have any leaks. And this is a 19 millimeter. The body right here is 19 millimeter. So I'm going to use like a 19 millimeter wrench to tighten it up. So we're going here left-handed. Look at that, ambidextrous. That's skills, man. And we're going to turn this around. I don't know if it'll go again. Let's see if it'll go again. Yeah. I don't think so. Will it go all the way around again? I don't think so. See? I need it to go all the way around again so that it's tight enough. Let's see here. A little bit more. I think we're going to do, because we want this is the hydraulic line. This has to go on here. So you kind of want it pointing back towards the unit. But I don't want to over tighten it. Let's see if we can put a bit more. Get it level. And it should be. There we go. That's it. That's all we're going to do. And I'm going to cook this up later. This will go on just like that. But for now, I'm keeping this cap. I'm going to keep it clean. And we will I'll show you that later. Let's go up and connect the hydraulic fitting to the unit itself. Now, here's the hydraulic trick. The hydraulic return is the same tubing as the air, okay? So that's the tricky part, and I'll show you that how it connects up underneath. But the fittings for that are right here, okay? There's one that goes on the unit, and that goes right here, okay? They're both the same size. Both of these are the same size, okay? It fits into the unit here, and then the actual, there's a knurl, the actual hose goes in here, and it goes down this flex tube, down under the rail, all the way to the other end, and then this other one goes into the far end of the cylinder, okay? And it has a knurl too. So that's that. Now these two guys, we take them out, so you can see there's a size difference. There's a little one, okay, right there, and then it is a larger one. The small one goes on the power unit, and the large one goes on the cylinder. And that's a simple, and the small one, I'm gonna, mine's on the other side, the way I have it, it's gonna go right where that red cap is. See if I can see it, right here. It's dark back here, sorry. Okay, all of the hydraulic and air lines are connected and ran. I'll show you the complete assembly now. The hydraulic line is connected to the power unit here in the back. That's where the red plug was. And the hydraulic return is right here. Now you notice that the hydraulic return has the same tube as my air line that goes to my flex tube. Here's my air line that goes into my valve. That is my supply. And you'll notice that my valve is not the same valve that was on before. There's a long story behind that. Now you don't necessarily have to use a valve like this. This is a $120 valve. But I will show you a valve that I recommend that you could easily get at Zoro for about 50 bucks. Okay, but the valve that comes with this unit, I highly recommend you take it immediately out if you buy this lift and throw it in the trash. It is complete 100% garbage. BendPak does not make that valve. They specify it, they use it, they should lose it. Okay, so let's go around and look at the flex tube. The flex tube goes into the runway here, okay? Then it goes through and all of the lines come out right here. Then the hydraulic line goes all the way down to the far end of the cylinder. I'll show you the connector here, right here, okay? So that's the elbow, the straight hydraulic line, and the elbow going into the line, to the cylinder. And then come back to the flex tube. The flex tube is, right, coming out of the flex tube, you're gonna have your air line, okay? That goes across, and let's go at it like this. Here's your air line, and it goes all the way across to your first T here, okay? And then that T comes across, it goes both ways. It goes all the way down to the far end, but it also comes out and goes this way, and then comes out to this T here, which goes to each of the pneumatic cylinders that release the safety locks. Okay, one on this side, and then it comes out and goes across to the other one on this side. Okay, and they connect up to these fittings here. Can't get this to the focus. Can't get it to focus. I should have taken those covers off. Anyway, and the last line is the hydraulic return. I'll show you where it goes again. It goes here on the power unit. And then on the cylinder, it comes out of the flex tube and goes right here. Okay, this is the return at the far end here, at the, or near end, however you want to call it. And it goes into the flex tube and up into the unit and ends up right there. Okay, so here are the cables by length and by letter. And I got them laid out here. And I was lucky, they actually have the lengths right on the tags. If you look right here, they're kind of turned, but you can actually see the lengths on the tag. So that makes it easy. So here's all of the cables laid out. Back up so you can see them all. And I'm going to route them one by one. I think I'm going to start with A. And if it doesn't work out, then I'll have to go to another one. But I think I'm going to go ahead and start out with A, B, C, D, and route the cables. So let's get right into it. All right, so as you can see, there's an A, B, C, and D cable. And I'm going to show you, I'm in the same orientation right now, so I'll show you my posts. Okay, so this is A over here on the right, B, Okay, on the left. This one here with the power unit is C. And finally, we have D. So that is the order in which I'm going to do my cables. I'm going to do A and C here on the right together at the same time. Okay, and then I'll show you when it's done. All right, cables are laid out, A, B, C, D, and I'm going to start with A and C over here on the right. Each of the gussets has a cable retaining pin. It has a 10 millimeter nut and bolt holding it. You have to remove that so that you can get the cable around the sheave in the gusset there. Okay, I'm getting ready to feed cable C. You want to make sure when you feed the cable you go on this side, not the back, this side of this little tiny pulley, because when the cable are tension, it levers this thing and it releases the secondary cable failure lock, because it's a dual locking system. Okay, it has the manually release air mechanism here, but it also has one here in case the cylinder fails suddenly or a cable breaks. This is a secondary separate locking system. Okay, so I'm going to feed that in now. I'm going to make sure we go in this side. And here we go. Let the show begin. Goes in right here around that one shift, and I'll see you underneath. You have to rotate the pin so that the flat side is on the back so that it'll clear to come out. That's what I'm doing now, just rotating it. So this is what the cable looks like coming down. So I have to pull it in towards me and down here to clear to come across to the first sheaves in the runway. So we'll go back up top so you know what I'm down here pulling out. Now we can install that corner sheave number C, or letter C. I'm just going to use a rubber mallet, no need to go crazy. And just put the ring clip on, and the next we'll go around this first sheave underneath the ramp. There we go. See you under the ramp. One thing you want to make sure of is when you run your cables is that the cable goes underneath these bolts that mount the rail, the runways. And I couldn't tell, so I took my bolts out and I moved the cable. See where the cable is? I know now that the cable is below, and then I put my bolts in. Because I saw a video on YouTube where a guy's cable had failed, and I don't even think he knew why. But in looking at the cables, it looked to me like they had been cut by these bolts. The cables were new, and the cables were cut and shredded about at this location. So whoever installed his lift unwittingly threaded those cables over the top. And when it tightens up, because the sheave is down low, the sheave is down in line here, it pulled it down on that bolt, and it was going back and forth, and it cut those new cables. There's no reason why it should have failed. So you really want to check on that, and check to make sure that your cable is below these mount bolts in line with your sheave. Okay, I'm going to try to capture at least one of these sheave installs. I'm installing the sheave on the left side here. As you face the lift, it would be on the left hand side. The cables going around this particular sheave are going to be B on top and D on the bottom. These two over here are A on top and C on the bottom. Okay, that's how I have it routed. So here comes the sheave. I'm going to have the cable coming in here from D all the way, and I have it looped inside here already. And I'm just going to put my sheave in there. Make sure that the cables are in the right top and bottom locations, and line them up with the hole here, and then put the pin through. So I'm trying to make sure that this one's on the bottom, this one's on the top. Okay, and I'll hold this a little bit and make sure they line up. And then I'm going to slide that sheave in to alignment with the hole. Okay, and then I'm going to put the pin in. Gotta get it lined up perfectly. And we're going to go in here, like this, top and bottom, and then I'm going to tighten up the screw to hold the pin in place. And now I can go to each column and take these cables up to the top and secure them with the bolt or with the nut, and tighten these up. And this needs to be secured with this plate. So now I can bring my plate in to the back. And you just have to kind of manipulate the cables and the plate until they're all aligned in their slots. And you have to get this threaded into the shaft, into the hole. So it's kind of a little bit of a coordinated effort you have to do to get all these parts lined up, but you can do it. And once you get that in, get all those in, you're going to put your washer and your nut on the end of the shaft to hold it. Huge, huge nut. I don't know what size it is. It's like an inch or something like that, an inch and a half. It's big nut, you will see here shortly. So you have these all in their slots. Okay, and now I'm going to come with the washer and the nut. And that should hold it. And we'll tighten this down later. This is a lot nut, too massive. I should have measured it so I can tell you what size it is, but it doesn't really matter. When you get this far, you're going to have to figure that out. So I get this nut on here. And now we can tighten these, put some tension on these cables and pull them up and mount them at the top of each post. Okay? Here they are. So this is on the top, A and B and C and D. This is how I did mine. Alright, and I'll probably put a poster up, I'll put a card up and have them labeled. Take a picture of this and label them so it's easy to see. Print it out if you want. So yeah, that is how you route these. And I will just pull this, have this pulled down. I'm not going to make you watch me oil the entire cable, but I thought you should see just a little bit. Okay, one more quick point. You see there's some little rubber runners here. They ride along the bottom of the track here when you raise and lower a vehicle. I put a little smear of grease right along the path or where they run here, so that they'll slide more easily and they won't make that weird scrubbing noise that you hear on some of the lifts when people don't think to do that. So just a small tip of something that can help make your lift sound a little bit smoother.